Back again. Boy Fever. Jazz in the house. Match day mornings. What's occurring, Jazz? Talk to me. How's your week been?
Not too bad. I mean, luckily I'm coming to the end of where I'm working, so I'm just tidying a few things up and doing other things on the side. So lots to do, and even this morning got up early, done a lot of work, and then even after our show, I'm going to run off and do a bit of shopping. So, yeah, always up to something, mate. But yeah, week's been good. What about yourself?
Yeah, it's been another successful week. So it's all been good in especially in East London. There's no crime other than normal. But talk to me, Jazz. Last Monday, West Ham 2, Leeds 0. I think we got away with one there. I think we didn't play well at all. I thought first 10 minutes was awful. Next 35 minutes was decent. Second half was awful. But what's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, like a couple of times in the past, we would have more or less drawn or lost this type of game, but we don't need to. So we're certainly in the knack of getting points and results when we don't perform. And this used to happen to us in the past where we would have said, oh, didn't we play well, but we lost. So we're doing what things used to happen to us. So could have been 1-2-0 down after literally 2-3 minutes. And even one of the goals to me, mate, looked on. And I don't know how they draw the lines. Yeah, I'll take it. But for me, it looked like it was certainly level, which perhaps means you give the goal because there's doubt. They said, no, they're going to give it. And it all goes back to kind of Mike Dean again. Like we spoke about it last week and I was fuming, like, how the hell is he going to... But the more I thought about it before the game, I felt it was going to turn into a positive for us. Like, you might give us something a bit more. So, yeah, we could have been 1-2-0 down. We got the penalty, second one from Lingard, the old Man United connection. So before him, we weren't getting anything. And Mike Dean gave it. But to be fair, even if he didn't give it, VAR would have given it. It was an obvious penalty. He picked the ball up from Rice, which again got me a bit confused. I mean, he's a striker. He wants to score. He'd been practicing in the week. Scuffed the shot. Luckily for him, the rebound fell straight back into him and he slotted it in. And that got us going, really. But, yeah, the first half was a mixed affair, really, where they should have gone into the lead with at least a goal. And then at the end of it, we snatched 2 goals with Dawson again, carrying on. Man of the match for me, Dawson. Great at the back. Should have got 2 goals, hit the post, if you remember, in the second half. Seems to be like a mini captain like Rice at the back, really pointing fingers, telling Dupe. You know, Dupe goes wandering off. He's not a very good defender at times, telling him to keep focused, covering for him at times, mopping up, clearing a shot off the goal line. All action hero, really. And I believe he's 2 games away from being signed for 2.2 million, according to the leaked agreement. So, yeah, got over the line. Not a good performance, but it's good. It's good. We kept the pressure in the top 4.
Is Craig Dawson the sign of the season? Would you say Craig Dawson, if we sign that man for 2.2 million, would you say he's the sign of the season for what he has done so far?
I'll go with Kafal still. I'll still go with Kafal because he obviously he started the season. So he's played more games for us, and it is a very important position, the full-back, wing-back position, which we've struggled. I'll still say Kufal a bit more, but purely only because he's played more games and obviously shown consistency over a longer period. But Dawson... And another thing is when you play in the back four, certainly in the centre-back, there is a lot more coverage for you if you do have sort of not so much of a good game. Your partner can cover for you, whereas when you're at full-back or wing-back, if you don't have a good game, the whole world can see. You know, it's a very difficult position. I used to play right back for the school, and it's a bum of a position. You know, there's no thanks at the end of it. Constantly, you're running that way, you're running back again, you're running that way again. As soon as you got it, you got to give it to someone else. It's a very demanding position. Kufal slightly for me, but hey, we got both of them really. So Kufal for me, but yeah, Dalton's been brilliant as well, mate. Yeah.
What do you make of Ben Rama's performance on Monday?
Yeah, really good. The only thing missing from his game is a goal for himself. Yeah. And I think David Moyes was kind of being a bit vocal and saying, you've got to score more. So he's trying a bit more. But then at the same time, he said, don't just shoot for the sake of it. So I don't know what David wants him to do. But for me, yeah, had a good game. Yeah, it's a good starting lineup. Yeah,
see, I can't work that one out, right? How can you not want him to shoot? If you don't shoot, you don't score. Do you know what I mean? It's a simple mathematics, isn't it?
Listen, in the past, even a year ago or 2 years ago, we didn't used to shoot. If you don't shoot, you don't score. I like people shooting, you know, and hopefully they're practicing training. That's the only thing missing. Once the first one goes in, he'll follow out with 2 and 3. But he's very good, very clever. The only issue he has, which he is working on, is his defensive side is improving. And hopefully he'll build himself a bit more in the gym, get a bit more stocky, upper body strength, which you need in the league. He's got the touch, mate. You can't get the ball off him, you know, all the tricks and flicks that he's got. Sometimes, he might do a lot, and then he will lose it in an area. It'll happen 1 or 2 times in the game. You just got to improve on that. But when he's got the ball, I'm quite comfortable that he's not going to lose it, that he's going to find one of our players. So, let's carry on. I mean, it's his first season, and hopefully he'll get more of a run of games and gives Bone a bit of a rest as well. So when Bone came on, what a great person to have on the bench, isn't it? Brilliant. Using the whole squad. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Yeah. No, you're doing well for me, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Forge from Irons, welcome. 2 good lads over there at Forge from Irons. So if anyone's watching this, go and follow that channel. They're starting up a few different shows, which hopefully I'll be on, giving them a few good debates. And Darren says, I used to be a left back. Left back is in the change rooms most of the time. Darren, don't worry, mate. I was left in the bar once. Do you know what I mean? And that was it. But no, listen, I agree with you. I know what you're saying about it with Ben Rama. It's going to be interesting this tomorrow, Sunday. It's going to be interesting to see how he performs up there. This man needs a go. James, don't be winding up Duke about Declan Rice. I know, mate. I know. But I'll put this to you, Jazz. Right? And funny enough, they've brought it up here. In the summer, if Man City come in and said, right, 150 million for Declan Rice, but you know that 150 million is going to go on buying 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, a left back and a goalkeeper, right? And the ball, they're not taking no money out of it. Would you accept it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. But having said that, there's not a lot you can get for your money these days. You know, I mean, I thought you were going to say Souček and Rice, which is sort of 160, isn't it? So 150 for Rice on his own, and you keep Souček. That's five players of 30 million each, isn't it? Which is half the team nearly. So that's a lot to, and then but even after said that, and the board, like you said, they stick their 60 in there. We got 210. 210. You can't say no to 210 million. Yeah. But
the thing is, I don't know if you agree on this. This is what I think. Don't get me wrong, and I say it quite loudly. I don't want to sell Declan Rice.
No.
But if someone said to you right now, you sell Declan Rice, you build a team, you go and get Seema from Prague, you go and get their goalkeeper, you go and get their striker, you get a couple of other players, and then basically you've bought about 6-7 players with this Declan Rice money, and then we're going to be an established top 8, top 6 team. Would you accept that? Because I would. I would, but you have to be careful that we don't spend it like in the past. We don't buy too many for that. We buy high up, so get 3-4 in, maybe 40 million each, instead of 10 of them who are about 10 million, 15. So you've got to be careful, quality over quantity, I think. But the thing is, Jazz, this is what Forge from Irons is saying, right? Depends on how many how the money is spent. Can bring in proper reinforcements. Remember when Rio was sold, we was relegated 2 years later. But I'm going to counter that with a flip side, right? I'm fed up as a West Ham fan to keep fighting relegation. All right, we never left Upton Park 5 years ago to be relegation contenders. I want to be top 6, top 8,
top 7,
right. But even then, right, I had to think about this because I had a little bit of a debate on another show, and I turned around and I thought about it. I thought you got Man City, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham. That's your top 6, yeah. Chucking Leicester in that, who have go out and they buy well, they sell their players at the right times, get the money in. Then you've got Everton. So that's 8 teams that are well in front of us financially. So basically, the best that we can look for is top 10. You see what I'm getting at without investment?
Yeah.
I don't know whether you agree on that. What do you think, Jazz?
I agree with that, and don't forget that the longer Leeds stay in the league, they've always been a big club. The way you and me have followed football, Leeds is a big club. Sheffield Wednesday have fallen away for some reason. They used to be pretty big. Newcastle, don't forget, very similar to us. Aston Villa, don't forget them with their clout. So it's kind of, even top 10 is a challenge. So we need every help we need. And realistically, the only way we're going to compete is selling people out of rice or having new owners. Under this current structure, we're not going to push ahead. And you've seen last week that we wanted to obviously chat about it later on, is a little bit the financial accounts came out. And you can see the way they're borrowing money. I mean, they're borrowing at 5% from people we don't know, like Michael Dell Company, the guy in Ireland, Table. And I'm thinking, why don't you just use your own money and inject it into the club at 0%? You know, the base rate's 1%, bank rate. You and me get a mortgage today, we won't pay more than 2.5, and we're paying 5. That's a worry. That's a worry. The other worry is we've got no assets since the ground was sold. So he's going around borrowing like 3 million on the training ground, like desperate stuff going on. But even when you look at the ticket sales, we've only lost like 5% on ticket sales sort of year on year because we don't make anything on match days. And there's people out there telling me, Jazz, my season tickets are £300. How the hell's the club going to go anywhere if people like me are paying £300 when Chelsea's £100 a ticket for one game? Tottenham, people have paid over 2 years, like £5,000 made it, I know. You know, and they're going to make money from corporate. And we've discussed this in the past. Like Tottenham are offsetting, they're not paying anything on their capital. They're paying interest. That's all they're paying is interest for 25 years and then roll it forward again. That's all they're doing, Tottenham. You know, they're clever the way they secure these deals. So, but at the same time, their corporate sort of income will go through the roof compared to what we're getting. So these are my thoughts that this is the only way we're going to compete is by selling some of our players. And don't forget, Leicester do as well. They sell at least one a year. That's 60 million. That keeps them, that we forget. The key is to get the scouting system in, mate. That's the only way to move forward because we don't have rich owners. So that's the issue for me.
Yeah. Right, we've got a guest on. First guest that we've done since we've done this show. I'm going to bring him in.
Expensive. Andy. We paid him a lot of money, didn't we? Cost a lot.
I know, mate.
You're right, mate.
Andy, how you doing, mate? You well?
I'm doing well. You boys?
Yeah, not too bad.
Mate.
Not too bad.
Right, first thing, Andy. Right, thoughts on Monday. What did you think of it?
Do you know what? I think it was a professional performance. Do you know, it was a game where normally when West Ham get a big result in the past, you play against a team like Leeds who, they play nice football, but they always seem to drop points. And West Ham is a team historically in the Premier League where clubs like that will pick up 3 points. You know, you look at strikers who go a couple of games without scoring a goal. We've all laughed and joked about it over the years and said the moment they come to West Ham or West Ham play, and they're going to bang 3 in. Do you know what I mean? And that's the sort of thing. So the worry was always, you know what I mean, like in previous seasons for me, that we would drop points in that game. But weirdly, this season, because of the way we're playing, because of the way how the boys are leaving everything on the pitch, you know, for me, there was never any doubt that we'd get the 3 points. But the most underrated thing in that performance was the link-up play between Ben Rama and Lingard.
Yeah, I agree, mate.
Beautiful.
I agree. What did you make? If you used to give Ben Rama a rating out of 10 for Monday's performance, what would you give him?
I'd give him. I would give him a really high one, but at the same time, I think because the lad still wants to score his first goal, you know, he flaps a little bit. A bit like Fornals, you know, with Fornals in front of goal. Do you know what I mean? Fornals works really hard for the team. Nobody could ever question that. But it's like when he gets in that 18-yard box and he's about to shoot, you know, it's like all of a sudden he becomes like an 8-year-old, you know, dreaming of scoring it, professional football, do you know what I mean? And fluffs it. And I think that's what Ben Rama's doing as well at the moment. So because he's doing that, I'd give him a 7.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he was confident, you know, if he'd scored the moment he scores his first goal for West Ham, and I could see them goals going in, you know, and that 7 performance becomes a 9.
Yeah.
Quite easy.
What do you think? What do you think the reason is why we are playing so well this season? Like, let's go back a year ago, right? Let's roll back a year ago before lockdown happened. We was awful. We couldn't defend, couldn't do anything. We go into lockdown because of COVID. Come out of lockdown, we win more than we lose, and we end up staying up. Now this season, we are flying like a kite. So, tell me what you think the difference is.
I think you know, first and foremost, it's got to be Moyes. You know, nobody can argue that. Let's face it. You know, I for one, when he got appointed the second time, I was thinking, what are you doing? You know, why reappoint him? But the one thing that nobody can ever question with David Moyes is his management skills. You know, he's man-to-man management skills. You know, he's basically put his arms around those players, give them a bit of love. You know, told them they're good. You know, all jokes. So remember that conversation he had with Anderson when Anderson scored that goal, and he said at half time, I turned around and I said to you, "You're Brazilian. Go out there and score a goal." And he went and scored that goal. You know, stuff like that. Them little touches build up over a period of time. You've got some of them players that were there that are no longer there. Like Felipe, you know, who was down on confidence. Now, I'm not saying he would have been a disruption to the dressing room, but when you've got someone who is down on their confidence, down on their luck, you know, it only takes that one person, you know, to sit there to constantly have their head down. It's like with any job. You know, I do sales. If somebody sat next to me, is constantly going, "Oh, do you know what? I'm no good at this." You know, you listen to it enough, and then all of a sudden, it starts seeping over to you. You know, and I think them sort of players, we've bought badly. You know, don't get me wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like Pellegrini did buy badly, but I also think Golden Sullivan bought badly and blamed it on Pellegrini and Husilos. You know, so slowly getting rid of those players, putting your arms around everybody. You know, Kevin Nolan being appointed onto the coaching staff was a massive appointment for us because there's not many players professionally who are there, you know, and will spend time to understand club values and what a football club is all about. For years, all we've ever had is all we've ever had is Nobes. That's all we've ever had, you know, and then all of a sudden, you've got someone like Nolan comes in. You've still got Nobes. You've got Kevin Nolan. You've got Declan, who's come through the academy. You know, you had Snods up until January. You know, all of a sudden, you've got these boys that understand and have spent time looking into a club ethic. You know, like the club's ethics and its ethos, and they're embedded into the other players. You know, smart move, like signing Kufal and Souček. You know, not just because of their ability and their price tags, but the Czech work ethic is. But
the one thing, though, the one thing you haven't said, and I was waiting for you to say it, and no West Ham fan on any platform says it, and I think I must be the only one who ever says it, is Declan Rice as captain. No one says it.
Because it's because, you know, the reason why nobody mentions it is because on the field he's doing it. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. On the field he leads that team, you know. But I think it would be naive to think that Nobes doesn't have that impact around that club still. Do you know what I mean? It's just fact.
I don't know though, Andy. I don't know. No, listen, I love Mark Noble. He's local to me. He's from my area. I love the man. I think what he's done for West Ham's been powerful. But Noble compared to Rice is a world-class box-to-box midfielder. Noble's always been a good player, but not a world-class player. So, and I think
side to that though. On the flip side to that, and I don't want to downplay Declan because I think he's legendary. You know, at the end of the day, I would actually argue. You know, it might be a big statement, but I would actually argue in the history of West Ham, he's probably our best academy product. when you look at his potential as well. You know, as well, like, we're only seeing the scripts of it. You know, it's easy to look back and see like the Bobby Moores, the Jeff Hurst and stuff like that, and going, right, okay, we know that they were, you know, they were part of an England World Cup winning side. We know we won things with players like that. At the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen to Declan Rice throughout the rest of his career. But what we do know is what we see week in, week out on that football pitch, and we all love it. But when you flip the side and say, right, okay, you know, it's just Dex, you look at Declan when he had Nobes. You know, and I don't want to do Nobes a disservice here because I think he's been a phenomenal servant to the club and the way he's played football. But you look at Declan when he had Nobes playing alongside him, and you look at Declan when he's got Souček playing alongside him. The fact that he's got someone who's a box-to-box player who gets stuck in as well, do you know what I mean? That does the dirty work as well and gives Declan that cover. All of a sudden, Declan's exposed.
Let me ask you this, right? So I'll ask you a few more things, and I'm going to have to let you go because I've got other people who want to jump on today. Yeah. If Man City come in the summer, offer 150 million, and turn around and say, you know what, we want Declan Rice, we give you 150 million, and you know that 150 million is going to go on players, so that's going to buy us a brand new goalkeeper, a left back, 2 central midfielders, 2 strikers, right? So we're going to have 210 million for a summer budget. Yeah. Would you accept it?
Right now, no. And the reason why I say no is we don't have the scouting network to go out there and get them players, you know, to make it affordable. If we did, you know, and we had like the infrastructure, you know, like a Leicester and an Everton, because I was listening to your chat earlier. If we had like the scouting network that Leicester and Everton have, then you know what, you could quite easily be tempted by it because you know full well, because you look at Tottenham when they sold Bale. You know, out of all them signings, there was what 2 or 3 out of like 10 that they bought that actually really had an impact on that squad.
See, the thing is, and I don't know whether Jazz agrees with this, right? West Ham's always 1 season away from having a bad season and going down. Like, let's be honest here, right? As fans of this club, we could have a 1 really good season, and then next season we could drop off the edge of a cliff. Like, and that's how we are. The problem that I have with it is I'm fed up, and really am fed up. We keep being relegation candidates when this team should be in the top 10, top 8, and this is one of the reasons why we left Upton Park. We never left Upton Park 5 years ago in May to be fighting relegation, because if that is the case, why we left Upton Park for? I mean, there was no reason for it. Once we stayed there, you know what I mean? If that is the case, do you know what I mean? So it's an interesting one. Right, Andy, I want you to give me 2 answers to this question that I'm going to give you. I'm going to let you go. Right? Where are we going to finish with your head? Like, where do you think you're going to finish with your head? Where do you think we're going to finish with your heart?
Right, with me head, looking at the games we've still got coming up. Genuinely with my head, so we could lose a couple of games. You look at other clubs running in, I say 6th. With my heart, sitting in 5th with a game in hand, there is no reason why we can't. You know, with my heart, why we can't take the full spot. Yeah, absolutely. As long as, you know, you said we're one season away from having a bad season. As long as Rice and Souček are fit, there is no reason why we can't still push for that top 4. You know, just take it game by game. There is no reason why we can't finish there. You know, but my head is saying we are going to get suspensions. We are going to get injuries. You know, it's naive to think we're not going to drop points for the season. But one thing I'll say as well before you let us go, United tomorrow. I'm confident if they put that team that they did on Thursday, which I think they're going to have to now because of that away goal. I think we're going to, even without Lingard, I think we're going to pick up 3 points. And
as I've always said this, yeah, the teams we are playing in Europe, like i.e. Man United, Arsenal, we're playing them at the right times. We're getting them bang on the right times. Like, we're not getting them with a week spare. We're getting them with 3 days. They're getting 3 days rest. So it's working in our favour. But Andy, it's been a pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming on. And I'll tell you what, yeah, you take care soon, mate. All right? All the best. Take care, man. Well, that was Andy. What do you make of that, Jazz? What he was saying? Top lad.
Yeah, very similar sort of views to us, really. That we do need to push on, and if it looks like we're going to finish in the top 7 at worst, and a little bit above that with a bit more luck. But my worry is how we're going to push on. So my concerns have moved on to next season now, and looking at the loans, and then we're looking at like when you're saying we moved to get to the top 4, the real financial facts are that on a match day income, I think we're only getting 3-4 million over the whole season, more than Upton Park. So
it's not that, Jazz. I don't know whether you agree with this, right? I don't know whether like me and you might agree with me, you might not. But 5 years ago, we left Upton Park, right? We've been in that ground over 100 years, right? That's our spiritual home. That's where we was, everything. I know people have got to move on from that, but let's be honest here, as fans right now, and the people who's watching, are we any different to how we was at Upton Park as a club? Like, we've signed well, we've signed some decent players, we've got some decent players, but let's be honest, we had decent players when we was at Upton Park, like your DeCanios, your Rios, etc. You've always had decent players at West Ham, right? So in 5 years, would you say we've changed as a club? I don't think we have, right? If I'm honest.
I just say it the way it is. Atmosphere Upton Park, I don't think it was up there the way people are saying it. I mean, I used to go, and trust me, most of the time it'd gone. That went with the terraces across all the clubs, A lot of people that go on about atmosphere, they're talking about standing times, mid-80s, late 80s, early 80s. Once terracing was gone, atmosphere across all grounds was gone, including I've been in there many times and it was flat. That's point 1. Point 2, I think like you said, we've struggled for 90% of our time as West Ham fans. We talk about the Paye season, we talk about the Pellegrini season, and that's 3 seasons going back many, many years. So I think nothing has changed, like you've said. Financially, I don't think anything's changed. The Pellegrini money was only provided because of the cost cutting over the many, many years since they came in. So they didn't give any money for 5-6 years, and then they gave it in one go to him. Yeah. And then they started crying again about it. And then, like I said, going forward, our match day revenue ain't up there. We haven't got the corporate banks that I thought when we've got to move that close to Canary Wharf, because I work in banking, I thought we're going to get these guys in there. They haven't bothered coming. We haven't even been able to name the ground. I know there's other things going on like Brexit that's affected it. I mean, Spurs are struggling on that front. So in terms of corporate revenue, I don't think it's. I mean, one side of the ground. I don't know if you know, where the main side of the ground where the players come out of. There's no boxes. Actually, that's the only side there is boxes. Sorry, I'm in the Billy Bond stand. We've got no boxes. Half the ground hasn't got any boxes. So where's your corporate? And the ones who go there, they say that the atmosphere. Sorry, the food they're giving you in the box ain't up to Tottenham Chelsea standards. It's not. They give you roly-poly and they give you like an average roast and things like that. So we're exactly the same, mate, I think. We're the same. We get more fans in there. People like me able to get the children in a bit cheaper, able to get season tickets. I wouldn't have been able to do that at Upton Park. It hasn't changed. It can only change with the thought process of the owners. Are they going to build us a new training ground? Are they going to build a scouting structure? Are they going to get the good managers in, which looks good at the moment? David Moyes has got it. He knows exactly where he wants to go, but are they going to be on the same track? So, mate, you're right. Yeah, we haven't moved on.
Well, let's put it this way, right? I've got another guest coming on who's the star of the future, right? I've never met the man, right, face to face, but I class him as a friend, right? It's the one, the only, and future star, mate, in the making. It is West Ham unofficial. How you doing, boy? You know what I mean?
Good.
Give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts. It's okay, mate. You can pay me later. Give us your thoughts on the Leeds game.
Oh well, we got the 3 points. That was that is completely all we need. To be honest, we got the 3 points. I mean, we won at our best. We were very much on the ropes in that first 10 minutes. We were very much not at our best. They could have been 2-0 up within that 10 minutes on another day. But you know, we had that bit of quality that got us the 2 goals. Perhaps a bit of luck in there as well. But we got the 3 points. But we're going to have to play a lot better against United tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll ask the pair of you this as it goes. I haven't asked Jas this yet. The Mark Noble final season. I'll start with Jas. Jas, you've seen him. You've been over there. You've seen him grow up from a boy to a man, local lad. He's lived his dream, as I've said on Jake's show, as a fan. Like, he started off there. He's been a one club man. Just give us your quick thoughts and what you think of Mark Noble and what he's done for West Ham.
Yeah, there's not many people that have given that many years service to one club, so it's good. It's a good sort of service he's given. It's been pretty loyal, but a couple of things to say on that. He's not, in terms of kind of skill and ability, he's nowhere near our history, any of those players. And I know you're thinking of naming a stand after him. I ain't going to go there, mate. I don't think up to that level. We're not in a rush to name stands. There's people like Devonshire and people like Frank Lampard Senior who are
Let me ask you though, Jas. Let me ask you this though. You have also got to respect the man's loyalty. Like, I know you can go back 40 years and all that. I get that. I'm 34 years of age, but I've never seen Alan Devonshire in a West Ham shirt. Now, for me, I don't know if you agree or not. When I look at Mark Noble, I look at a man who's been loyal from start to finish. And let's be honest, what we've been through as a club, like from start to finish with him. If you was to see his basically CV of West Ham, it hasn't been pretty. Like, as in, like, what he's had to go through. Like, and I get what you're saying. As in, I totally agree with you. Right, when it comes to a skill aspect, right, he's a half decent player. I'll call him half decent. Yeah, and that he's nowhere near on the level as Declan Rice. That's why I believe Declan Rice this season is driving us forward as a captain, because he's a world-class footballer, and I see a world-class footballer in front of me. But when I look at Noble, I look at you've got to give him the representation he deserves, for the simple fact of the matter, he's an academy. He's come from the Academy of Football, and any person who looks up and sees either the Mark Noble stand or a statue or something of that ilk will be inspired as a fan. Like, I'm going to use Jake as an example, and I'll bring Jake in. Yeah, if Jake was right into his football, was playing football and all that, joined the academy, he can look up to Mark Noble and go, you know what, Mark Noble can do it, so can I. Do you know what I mean? And that's worth more than us going out and buying Sebastian Haller. But Jake, what's your thoughts, mate?
We talked about it Thursday night, didn't we? I mean, it's just the letter. It was touching. It was superb, and I liked the bit on the end as well. It was just all what we deserved from. It's all what we deserved, and we knew that it was coming. We knew that something like that was coming. I think it's time that he goes into the training staff whenever at the end of next season. But I think the last stand, it won't be named after him. I don't think it will, because somebody brung up the point that that's the corporate stand. That's the only one that's not named, and due to reasons that they're not going to do that. But he needs something. We said it on Thursday night. He needs something big. He needs something memorable for his 18 years, because I think what he's been through, the highs, the lows, the playoff final, getting relegated, he completely deserves something big, as we said. Well,
listen, you wait so long for one person to come in, and then 75 people want to join at once. So we're going to bring him in. And
hey! Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Casey,
not too bad.
It's a pleasure.
I heard Mark Noble being discussed, and I had to jump in. Yeah.
Right. let me ask you all this, right? What would and I'll start with Jazz first, right? What would be deemed like something that we can remember him by? Forget the coaching staff role, right? Forget all of that. It's got to be something that his name's going to have to be set in stone. And I just want to hear your thoughts, Jazz, and everyone else on that. What would be acceptable, Jazz?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking about. I can remember 2 seasons where he's done all right, and the rest. I remember Scott Parker, Ian Bishop, people like that more than him. He's good service. Stan, no chance. He'll have a role. At the same time, I can't remember any club that's coming for him, and he said, "I'm not going to join them." And then he's done all right, but I don't know. You can name a. We don't even own the ground. What can we name after him? The hot dog van? I don't know. Cheeseburger stall? I don't know. I'm not getting so excited as you guys. Yeah. So brilliantly, a lot of respect. We'll always remember him. You don't have to name something after him. He'll always be up there as one of the best servants the club's ever had.
That's it. It's done.
But
it's done, Jazz.
It stops
the penalty spot.
Yeah.
It's it. I think we're going to name the penalty spot.
Fair point.
Right. I'll move on to Gatesy. Talk to me, Gatesy. How would you like him to be remembered?
Well, you've already plugged us, so I'm cool to do that. Duke did a post earlier this week on our YouTube channel asking the question, should we retire the number 16 shirt or should we name the stand that's still to be named in Mark Noble's honour? I'm going to be a little bit contrary. I think we should do neither. For me, we've retired 2 shirts in our history. Bobby Moore, what he did was unparalleled as far as we're concerned. So absolutely that should have been retired. No problem. Dylan Tombides, his shirt was retired because he died of testicular cancer whilst he was still at the club. Are there going to be too many players that would want the number 38 shirt? And I'm not sort of like doing that number down or anything, but it's not a sort of like a high profile number like the number 6 was. So not a problem. Absolutely retire that shirt out of respect to the kid. Should we name the stand after him? No. That stand, in my opinion, and I'm on record of saying this, that stand should be named after Frank Lampard Senior, because we've got 3 stands that are named after Bobby Moore, Sir Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds. Now, Billy Bonds and Sir Trevor Brooking are 2 of the only 3 men in claret and blue to have won the FA Cup twice. The third is Frank Lampard Senior. Furthermore, Frank Lampard Senior is second on the all-time list of appearance makers. He seems to have been forgotten about by the club. Part of that might be because of what happened with his son, but that shouldn't detract from a length of service that was knocking on to about 30 years. And he just seems to have been completely eradicated from as far as West Ham as a club seems to have been concerned. So what should we do for Mark Noble? Well, the one thing that I think that would be a fitting tribute, why not rename Chadwell Heath after Mark Noble? Name it the Mark Noble Academy, something like that, because he is an academy prospect. So that, for me, I think that would be a good tribute to give to a man that has given all these years.
But don't you think though, in regards of the Lampard thing, that sometimes it's a generational thing?
Yes.
Because you've got people like Jake, for instance, who, and even myself, I will even vouch for myself. I'm 34 years of age. I've never seen Frank Lampard Senior playing a West Ham shirt, from what I can remember, right?
No.
And I understand he's won something, but sometimes in life, you can go and win stuff and then walk away. Like, they've all done it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, players have done it all in the Premier League. They've won a Premier League and they've walked away and all that.
Yeah.
With Mark, the reason why I will defend Mark on this one, and I will, is because that man's never walked away from us when we've been down. We've been relegated, right? He's never walked away.
No.
And let's be honest
here. Neither did Frank Lampard Senior. Neither did Frank Lampard Senior.
Yeah, but was there ever a time, though, there where West Ham was relegated?
Yeah, there was.
Yes, 1977, 77, 78. So,
so
he was
there.
relegated. And like I say, for me, the precedent was set by naming 2 of the stands after Sir Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds, 2 of the only 3 men in history of our club to have won 2 FA Cup winners' medals, and the third has got nothing. absolutely nothing
And
that
Rob,
he
for
has
me,
as any sort of recognition.
Yeah. And Rob, for me, Alan Devonshire would come a little bit below Frank. So there's
Yeah,
lots
listen,
of names, lots of names
absolutely.
ahead of Noble.
There's lots of names, but as I say, Frank Lampard, as I say, you know, he's one of three men to have won the FA Cup twice, and that's only been sort of done in our history by three men, and two of them.
But the thing is here,
and as I say, he's second on the all-time list of appearance makers, and people forget that Frank Lampard actually would have become the captain had he not at the time expressed that he expressed an opinion that he might be moving on at the time. So therefore, Ron Greenwood made the decision that he would make Billy Bonds the captain. So it's a real sliding doors moment. It could have been Frank Lampard that not only won 2 FA Cups, but was actually the captain in doing so.
Yeah, but do you think his time has passed now with that? That's the issue I have.
That's the thing. Because the thing that I am always a little bit I don't like is that we have this tendency to honour our heroes once they're dead, when they're not here to appreciate it. I mean, we named the Bobby Moore stand after he was gone. You know,
well, as far as I know, I'm not knowing Billy Bonds. Billy Bonds is still going strong, surely, isn't he?
No, I know that. But you know what I mean. Sort of like I'm talking about, sort of like generally, it's sort of like, you know, oh, we'll be the statue after. I mean, Bobby Moore, like I say, was, you know, it gives me no pride to say this, but the club only remembered him after he was gone. The club should have been rolling out the red carpet. Now, you look at his German counterpart, Franz Beckenbauer. The moment Franz Beckenbauer retired, right, he was made the West German national manager. He was made a sort of like a president at Bayern Munich, the club that he basically represented most of his professional career. Now, what did the FA do, and what did West Ham as a football club do for Bobby Moore? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. No.
And that's what annoys me.
Yeah. This is one good thing that the current owners do. They do get in touch with ex-players and call them around. I mean, people like Mark Ward, who's had a lot of difficulty. He said, "Yeah, I'm very close with them. They've helped me. He comes on match days, earns a bit of income." So I think when they're wrong, they're wrong. But the current owners in this area, they're quite good in bringing old people back.
Yeah.
Billy Bonds didn't want to come back, but he speaks highly of David Gold and says, like, you know, he agreed to everything. Yeah. So that's kind of, and like you said, there is something that needs fixing with Frank Lampard. And the
thing is with this issue, I'm not disagreeing with Rob, because that's from Rob's generation. Like he's grown up.
Saying I'm old?
I'm saying you're experienced.
Well done. I told you should be a politician. I
know, mate. I'm a smooth talker, right? But what it is, it's a generation thing, right? Yeah. Now I'm going to pass it over to Jake, right, and see what Jake thinks. Jake, as in Mark Noble, as a young West Ham fan, what's your thoughts?
Well, am I going to say legend? Yes, I am. This is the only real legend that I've seen in my time that's been there. I mean, he's been at West Ham more years than I've been alive. I'm 13, and he's been there 17 years. For me, there's in my lifetime, there's no one else that I'd give it to. I can't comment on players from the past. It seems when they die, they get more recognition from when they're alive. But for me, give Mark Noble. You've got to give him something big, something good, because in my opinion, he's the only player who's been there in my lifetime that's done the kind of the hours, everything for me. That's my opinion.
See, Fo makes a good point here. Yeah, Ron Greenwood, right? He's the only manager to win the European Cup in our history. Like, let's be honest, that's the highest. That's the highest award or highest trophy that we can win, and he never gets a mention. So it's. But then the problem with it, as a fan, is that where will these players be remembered? Like, I look at Mark Noble, and when I look at Mark Noble, I look at what he's had to go through, like as in the Icelandics, the relegations, the FA Cup heartache, the multiple relegations. Do you know what I mean? And he's seen some rubbish at our club. I mean, like, he has seen us enough going to like bankruptcy, because that, like, at one stage we couldn't even have a sponsor on a shirt. Like, let's get real here. Like, so, do you know what I mean? And so it goes down the road a bit. Jay Woods makes a good point here. Mark Noble's a different generation. He's done his service in the Premier League, captain for us in the last season at Upton Park. The first game in the London Stadium deserves a stand to be named after him. Me personally, he needs something that's not going to be that isn't an insult. Like, you can't go and give the man the Mark Noble way, like a walkway or something, or like a hot dog stand. Just put it. Do you know what I mean? You can't do it.
Say,
you know what I mean?
I think that naming Chadwell Heath after him, I think that would be a perfectly fitting tribute because he's.
So you're telling me right now. Porter cabins are going to be named after Mark Noble after 18 years of service.
I'm talking the whole complex, not just the Porter cabin.
I think that's fair shout. That's fair shout. I mean, what is the rush in naming the one stand after? We can just wait a little bit. There's no rush to name all 4 stands after anyone. So
I agree there's no rush, but like, do you know what I mean? I want people to give him a guard of honour.
I think he'll get that 100%. He will get that in his final game. And Mark Noble, it's very rare in modern football now that you get a one club man. You know, it doesn't seem to happen.
Folks just killed it off.
Name the carpet.
Name the carpet.
You are a provocative young man. You really are.
Name that carpet after him. Do you know what I mean? But while you're here, quickly, I'll quickly go through some of the fixtures because that's what me and Jazz do. I just want to hear your thoughts, and then me and Jazz will do it after. Right, you've got Leicester, Sheffield United, and basically, what do you quickly make of Chris Wilder leaving?
Do you want to go first, Jazz?
I think it was coming. Very, very odd why it didn't happen around December time is when most of them go and they got time to buy someone in the window. I would have held on because he did bring them up and some managers are quite good in the Championship. So it made sense for me that they, just accept the facts that you're going to go down and then who better than get someone who brought you up just over a year ago. So I would have stuck with it and given him a chance, really. So it's a little bit too late for me unless they've got someone like... So the Bournemouth guy lined up, like the ex-Bournemouth manager. Maybe they got someone lined up. Yeah, maybe he's lined up. I don't know, but he's very much close to the area he's from. Like I was saying in the past, he's got a good lifestyle in Bournemouth. So maybe the Crystal Palace job is more appealing for him. Sheffield from Bournemouth, not quite doable, but maybe they got someone good in. I don't know, but very unusual for me. I think it should have been done in December, but I would have kept him after realistically knowing you're going to go down and hopefully you can bring him back up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Go on, Jake. Go on, mate.
I think I see on Twitter that he left on mutual consent. I think I saw Sheffield United board come out a couple of months ago say if we go down, we're not going to sack him. Whatever happens, we're not going to sack him. We're going to stay with him. I think that's a bit strange. If you've put them in this position, go to the end of the season and then do it because they've just left them in a bit of a situation now because they know they're going down. I thought it was just a bit strange because I thought Chris Wilder would have stayed there and tried to bring them back up again from the Championship. But
do you think on that? Do you think he's looked at it that they will sack him at the end of the season? So he's got in there first and said, "I'm going to leave," and they've accepted it. Because let's be honest, as Gatesy, I'm going to come to you on this. Someone being sacked to someone leaving are two different things.
Well, as Jake said, it appears to have been a mutual consent thing, but I was shocked, same as Jazz. I mean, you sort of like, we're here on obviously yesterday, the 12th of March, the season's, more or less done and dusted. They're down. There's no doubt about it. And after 8 games of the season, you were probably looking at it and thinking the writing was on the wall. Now, they got through the January transfer window and he was still in the position as the manager. And you knew they were down at that point, and the thing is, it's really strange because I think if you look at the last 6 games or so, there's actually been a little bit of an upturn in performance. Not enough that's going to save them. Nowhere near. They're down. They're gone. Yeah. Forget it. But this is a guy that when he walked in, they were a League One club. He got them promoted from the League One to the Championship and then from the Championship to the Premier League and got them a top half finish. Now, there's also a sort of like a train of thought that if they hadn't have had to deal with the lockdown, because their fans, say what you want, but they're a really sort of like a driving force behind them. Do you know what I mean? Now there's a possibility, and we'll never know, but there was a possibility, I believe, of them getting European qualification. So he's done all that for them, and they've hit a bit of a bad run of things. And for me, the big loss for them was Jack O'Connell at the back. They've never really recovered from that, and they've had to put in other players in his place, and it's just not worked out. They're not as defensively strong as they were last season with him in place. So I think he's been a little bit unlucky. He's been a victim, if you like, of his own success of getting them from League One to the Premier League top half finish, and now they've hit a little bit of a rocky patch. But for me, he'd have been the ideal manager to keep him for next season, because this is a guy that's been in the Championship. He knows the Championship. He knows what it takes to get out of the Championship into the Premier League. So, it made no sense to me. I mean, if you were going to get rid of him, you should have got rid of him before the January transfer window opened, to give the new guy coming in a bit of a chance to do some wheeling and dealing.
I will tell you something now, that sort of just sort of come to me. Celtic are looking for a new manager. Chris Wilder.
No.
Would that be a shout? No? You couldn't see it, Jazz?
Can't see it. No.
Couldn't see it? Okay, now I'll get back to having my coffee.
Because don't forget, Chris Wilder more or less has
I've
been
got to dash.
Yeah.
I've got to dash now. I've got to get ready for our show, which is starting in about 7 minutes. I've got a few little ends to tie up, but thanks for having me. I do appreciate it.
Rob, I love that shirt in the back. That one in the door. I love that
one.
shirt.
I'll tell you what. We'll talk about that later, because you're jumping on. Yeah. We'll have a chat about that later, mate.
All right, mate.
No worries, Gatesy.
Stay safe.
You take care, mate. Take care,
Gatesy.
Right, let's get into it. Let's have a prediction for this game. Right, I'll start with Jake first on this one. Jake, what do you reckon, mate?
Leicester, Sheffield United. I think they don't score Sheffield United. I mean, they haven't even got a manager now. I don't think they brought anyone in, have they? I think this could be. I'm going to go 2-0 Leicester on this. I mean, they have got injuries, Leicester, but I think they've got enough to get through that. I'm going to go 2-0 Leicester on that one. 2-0.
Jazz, me and you, I've got to up my game this week, mate. I'm falling apart on this prediction. You know what I mean? Jazz, I'll let you go first, mate. What do you reckon?
1-0 Leicester, mate. Yeah, 1-0. Just get over the line. Vardy's struggling. Madison Barnes is not there. So they're not being quite at it, being quite fortunate to win the last game 2-1. Sheffield United can't score unless it's a penalty or something like that. So 1-0 Leicester for me, mate, that's the team we need to catch. So not good for us. Yeah.
I'm going to go 3-0. I think this is the one where I think when they've just lost their manager, they're going to be all over the place. He's been with them for years. He's guided them through the leagues. And then you've got another boat there you've got to listen to. I just think, and you're playing a team that's just going to come on top of you. And I think Vardy's going to score in this game and all. So, I think his dry spell is going to come to an end.
He's in my fantasy team, mate.
He's in mine and all, mate.
I've been fuming at him. Yeah.
There you go.
I've got to put him in, so yeah. But I'll go 3-0 there, 3-0 Leicester. Next game, big game. Oh, this used to be a very feisty game back in the day. Jazz will remember these sort of clashes back in the 80s and early 90s. You know what I mean? Leeds versus
1970 FA Cup final was what they got famous for. But certainly, like I said, another game which used to be quite a unique sort of within the crowds as well and on the pitch. So 2-0 Chelsea for me, mate. Yeah, 2-0 Chelsea with this one.
Yeah.
What have you made? They're doing really
well. What have you made of Tuchel, Jazz?
Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, well organised. Bit more now in tactics than Lampard. And he's making them all think about the positions. He keeps changing them, but for a good reason, saying that it's all about the squad game. So don't get too comfortable. I need a different team for every game. So he thinks deeply about every game instead of doing the same thing every game. So he changes tactics, plays certain positions differently. So really good and clean sheet after clean sheet for Chelsea. So, really solid person, I think. Yeah, looking solid. Yeah.
Jake, what do you reckon, mate?
I'm going to go 3-1 Chelsea in this. I think Leeds could nick a goal if if Bamford's got some sort of shooting boots or not that he had the other night, which was happy days. But yeah, I think they're becoming superb under Tuchel, and I think they're going to have too much for Leeds. But I think Leeds will get a goal. 3-1 Chelsea for me.
3-1. I'm actually going to say a draw here. I don't know why. I just fancy. I'm going to say like something like a 1-0 or a 2-0, but I'm going to go with a 2-0. I think there's going to be goals in this game. Leeds are a good team, mate. I'm not being funny. If they had their shooting boots on against us, they would have beat us last week easily. And we, especially in the first 10 minutes in the second half, they had chance after chance. They just couldn't put it away. So I'm going to go 2-2 on this one. I'm hoping for a draw because a draw does us a massive favour and it keeps us in touching distance. But yeah, I'll go 2-2. You know what I mean? And let's see. I'll say it once. Come on, Leeds. That's what I was on that. The next game, I'll start off with Jake on this one. Crystal Palace, who are a weird team this year, and West Brom. Are Palace, Jazz, safe? Quickly, before I hand it over to Jake.
I think so. I think they're okay. I think teams like Brighton, Newcastle are a bit more danger than them. Palace, quite solid under Hodgson. They just haven't found the net again without Zaha. They don't quite have the threat up front. Eze's had a good first season. So I think 1-1 with this one. I think they're about the same. I think West Brom are quite tight at the back. Palace are quite tight at the back. So 1-1 for me. Yeah.
Jake?
Oh, but this could either be a really entertaining game or a complete bore fest, couldn't it? I'm going to go 1-1 in this game. I think it could be tight. Yeah, as you say, Crystal Palace are a strange side. West Brom, I think, Big Fat Sam, he'll play out for another 0-0 draw. But I think they have got quality in their side. And just pick off what Jazz said, I think they're down. I think it'll be Sheffield United, West Brom, and Newcastle for me. I think they're Fulham are only 1 point. Is it 1 point off Newcastle now? For me, they're staying up for me. Go on, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally with what you're saying. I just think also that we're forgetting Brighton are right in there, and Brighton are falling apart and all. So yeah. So who's your three? You just said Sheffield United, West Brom, and who's the last one?
Newcastle. Oh, I hope Newcastle go down. Not just for them blinking steps, but for I hate them. I hate them.
Yeah, everyone mentions about like 1,000 steps. Yeah,
but what I'm going to say, we had tickets to go up there. I've never been up there. I've only heard what people have said. We were going up there last April, obviously lockdown and all of that. That didn't happen. We were going up there, and everybody's on about them blimmin' steps. But there you go.
Yeah, Jazz, have you ever been to Newcastle away?
No. Again, I was thinking the same a couple of days ago. Certainly the game yesterday. I'd love to go up there. I think, yeah, it's a very that stand behind the goal that's where the away fans are, and it's really high up, and it's nightlife is meant to be good in Newcastle, and yeah, that'd be a nice away trip. Yeah, definitely. Similar. I'd love to go up there.
Jazz, the nightlife, great, mate. I've heard. I'm going to give this. Go on, Jay. I'll just give my prediction, and you can say it, mate. Yeah. I'm going to say I actually think Palace win this game. I think Palace win this game. I think they beat West Brom. I think they're going to come onto them. And I think West Brom are down, mate. As like Jake said, I just think they're down. This is a game where I think Palace need to win this game. If they don't win this game, Palace, and West Brom win it, then they're involved in the relegation scrap. So yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Palace on this one. Go on, Jake. What was you going to say, mate?
Just about Newcastle, I was going to say, I mean, we've got nosebleeds being up in fifth place. Can you imagine? We're all going to have nosebleeds up that high. Up there, it's about 6 miles up in the air.
I know, mate. I know. I've never been to Newcastle away, but I've spoken to people who have, and they said, James, trust me, if you don't like heights, just don't look down. But yeah, moving on to Everton versus Burnley. Now, to me, Burnley are in trouble, Jazz. I don't know about you, but this team was safe about a few games back, and then all of a sudden they've managed to be dragged into it, and they're only, if I'm right in thinking, they're only about 2 points behind, or like 2 points in front of the bottom three. So
they're four points ahead. Yeah,
4 points ahead, and 4 points can be made up quite rapidly. Do you know what I mean? Especially if they start losing games, and especially if other teams start winning games. Do you know what I mean? I'll start off with Jake on this one, with his prediction and what he thinks. Fire away, Jake. Everton versus Burnley. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Everton will come out on this game. I think Burnley, they're another weird side, aren't they? I mean, I like Sean Dyche. I really do like him as a manager. But I think Everton are going to have too much for them. I'm going to go. I think it's difficult, this one. I think I'm going to go 2-1, 2-0, something like that. 2-1 Everton for me.
2-1 Everton. Jazz?
I've gone for 1-1 because Everton, again, with sort of Lewin, he's not quite got his shooting boots on. And Burnley don't concede much. And I think the difference down there why Burnley won't go down is they're used to being in that position. They grind results out. The difference with Newcastle is they're not prepared for this battle mentally. And last night, again, playing well, they just can't score. I mean, Linton up front, he's one of the worst strikers I've seen in the Premier League. I mean, in front of goal, he is really bad. I mean, he does a difficult part, to be fair, but then when it opens up for him, he hasn't got the confidence to shoot or make the right decision. So Burnley will stay up for me purely because they're used to this. And they're used to it. Yeah. So 1-1 for me, mate. I don't think Everton... Like Villa, they're just not at it really. Even Leicester, these three clubs who are competitors, they're getting results, but when you look at it, no way near are they on their top game like they were in the early part of the season. So 1-1 for me, mate. Yeah.
It's an hard one, this one, because what it is, Everton have got FA Cup next week, big game for them, and they're in that, and they're chasing the top four and all. I am going to say that Everton will win this game, but it'll be tight, like a 1-0. I'm going to give it a 1-0 Everton. But I'll make you right, though, Jazz, in what you've said, and Jake, in what you've said. I just think Everton might just nick this. They've just got just enough to go nick a 1-0 and move on, sort of thing. So I'm going to go Everton 1-0.
Can I just say, the Chelsea team has just been announced for Chelsea Leeds. They put out a serious side, but let's hope Leeds can. I don't think they will, but Leeds can do us a favour today. They put out a serious side, Chelsea.
Come on, Leeds. That's what I say on that. The next game, right? The shock of the weekend last weekend was Fulham beating Liverpool. And now they're up against possible or more than likely champions in Man City. I'll start off with Jazz with this. Jazz, first of all, what did you think of Fulham last week against Liverpool, nicking the 1-0 win at Anfield? And we spoke many weeks back, and you called it. You said Newcastle were going to be sucked in, and Fulham are the team that's going to get out of it. Talk to me, Jazz. Tell me.
I think, to be fair, I think you were more correct than me. I was saying that the gap was a bit too much, although Newcastle were dropping. So you were right. You were the one who said that you felt Newcastle were going to drop and Fulham catch them. And I think it's more than likely that Newcastle are going to be in the bottom three by the end of the games. Fulham, for me, doing really well under Scott Parker, but I think this is a little bit too much for them. I think the Liverpool game, mate, I'm speechless over Liverpool. I ain't got a clue what the hell's going on there. They lost 6 in a row at home, and every home game I keep saying it can't carry on, and it keeps happening. Klopp thinks there's not an issue when apparently there is. You cannot perform like that, and you think nothing's up. Something's going on. For me, Man City will win this one 3-0, I think. I think they'll be comfortable. The only thing, going back to fantasy football, having a Man City players in your team is a nightmare. I mean, I done a triple captain on Sterling. He done nothing. Had Foden. He didn't play him, but then he got the points back. So week to week, you don't know Pep what team he's going to play. I got Stone.
No.
He doesn't play every other game. So 3-0 for me, but Fulham look like they're going to be safe. Good team spirit, which Scott Parker kept saying, to be honest, from the beginning that we've got. He said, I know on the training ground what we're doing and what the players, and he had a belief in it. So he'll learn a lot out of this season, and that'll hold him in good stead for the future, mate. So well done, Scott. But this is a bit too much for them. I think Man City 3-0, I think.
Yeah. Jake?
It's a difficult one because I could easily see somebody saying that they could nick a point off of them up there because the confidence they got buzzing off of them, beating a average at best Liverpool side though. I love saying that, average at best Liverpool side. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think they'd have too much for. I'm going to go 2-0, 2-0 City on that one.
I'm going to go 3-1 City. I think Fulham will give it a good go this one. It's a free game for them. They're not expected to get anything, and they're going to go for it from start to finish. I think that the reason why Fulham will get out of it is Scott Parker. I think him as a manager, he's passionate. I love that in the man when he's going mad at the end, when he means so much to him, and he manages how he played, and that says a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I love these sort of celebrations that he does. And yeah, I think Fulham, the games that they've got coming up, they've got to win the games at the right times. They can afford to lose this one, but as long as they get something from the next one, it's not an issue. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to say 3-1 City. I think City are just first class. I think they're marching to the league. They've done everything they can. And yeah, 3-1 City. We'll move on to a good game, this one. A South Coast derby. Southampton versus Brighton. Well, I'll start off with Jas. Jas, Brighton a few weeks ago, me and you spoke, and we turned around and said Brighton are safe. Now, Brighton are, I think, a point or two in front of them. What the heck is going on with Brighton at the minute? They can't win a game.
Yeah, again, I think a couple of weeks ago, there was that game where they had 25 shots and they lost it. Then there was that game where they missed 2 penalties. I don't know what it is with these clubs at the bottom. They do perform okay, but they just can't score. Whereas with us, like last week, we could have been better, but we put the ball in the net, which, it's a fine line sometimes in the Premiership. I mean, this one, it's a derby, but I can't remember any game living up to a derby spectacular game. I mean, they played in the Cup as well, I think, recently, and there's nothing you can shout or remember about. A 1-1 for me, I think. I don't think any of these clubs are doing any well. They're both off form. Danny Ings is off form. Mope's off form. So 1-1 for me. I think nothing special to talk about, I think, after the game, and it'll just be, just 1-1 like last night's game, I think,
Yeah. Well, I will give you my prediction quickly, and it's the same as Jas's. 1-1. I think it's got a draw written all over this game. Brighton will. They don't really do. They do okay away from home, but they do okay against really big teams. And somehow when they play like teams around them, they fall apart. So I'm going to say 1-0, short and sweet on this one. I just think it's a bang on draw. But you watch it be like something like 9-0 Southampton or something. You know what I mean? Dave, what do you reckon? Go on, mate.
I've got a Brighton mate who supports Brighton, and he said we just can't score. Just can't score. For me, this is 0-0 for me. I don't think this is going to be an exciting derby, so I'm going to go 0-0. Not a game that I'm going to particularly want to watch for me.
Yeah, your Brighton friend. Does he feel like they could go down?
He's worried. He really is. He said our main problem is we're okay defensively, but whoever's in front of goal, he said, just can't score. I personally think they'll be all right. They are well down there, but I think Newcastle are the ones that are going to go down with Sheffield United and West Brom for me. But they're there, and they need to start picking up points quickly.
You say that, but Brighton got the same points as Fulham with a game in hand and 2 points less than Newcastle. So it's very close. And if I was a Brighton fan, I would be very, very worried. Yeah, that is not
Right,
good. Yeah.
right. We go from one derby to
Here
a
we
very,
go.
very, very juicy derby. The Arsenal versus Tottenham. Now, I'll start off first with this one. I used to live in North London. I was with someone for many years, and I used to live literally 5 minutes from Arsenal football ground.
Oh.
And I used to walk around with West Ham shirt quite proudly. I used to know a lot of people who are Arsenal fans, and some people like Arsenal, some people don't. I'm in the camp where I don't mind them. Do you know what I mean? I prefer them to Tottenham. So in this game's usually 2-2, 4-2, 5-5, whatever. It's usually mental, this game. So I am going to give this a prediction of Arsenal 3, Spurs 2. I think this is a 3-2 game for Arsenal. I think Arsenal will be up for this massively. They need to get revenge after what happened at White Hart Lane in the first game where they got completely destroyed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to give it a 3-2. Jake, go on, mate. Give us your prediction and what's your thoughts?
I think Spurs are going to have a bit too much for me. I really don't like Arsenal. I really don't like Arsenal. I mean, I don't like Spurs as well. To be fair,
Hold on. Who do you not like the most, though?
It's still Spurs. The reason I really don't like Arsenal is because I've got my two best mates that are Arsenal fans, and the most typical thing is I haven't been at school to when they're down there in what are they 10th and we're up there. But hopefully the talking will continue when we play them in a week's time. But this one I'm going to go. I think Spurs have too much for them. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs for me.
2-1 Spurs. Jazz?
I don't mind Arsenal. I've always looked at that club, oozing a bit of class, the old marble, halls and then the old ground. So I don't mind Arsenal at all. Tottenham, don't have to say that I hate them a lot. This game will be 2-2 for me, I think. I think Aubameyang is getting back into form. Lacazette is always scoring goals. You've got to give him fair due, even though he does miss quite a lot. He's a good striker, one that we were linked with so strongly when we moved to the MOS Stadium. And so because I think it's a derby, yeah, Tottenham do have the edge on paper, but Arsenal being at home as well, I think 2-2 will be a good game. Always look forward to this one. It's always quite hot, quite heated. There'll be a few tackles flying around. So 2-2 for me, mate. Yeah, it'll be a good game. Looking forward to that. Yeah.
I agree, mate. I'm looking forward to that one. I know as it goes. Right, I'll move on to this game and I'll leave our game till last. Wolves versus Liverpool. If someone could tell me right now what's happened to Liverpool, this was the team. Let's go back 3 years ago. They lost in the final of the Champions League. Then they won the Champions League. Then they won the Premier League. They've just fallen off the edge of a cliff. Me personally, I think it's a lack of them not spending any money, and the players that they've bought haven't worked out like certain players who they've brought in. I'll go to Jake first on this. Jake, what's happened to Liverpool, mate?
I don't know, but I'm quite enjoying it. But I think I really don't know. I think it's Van Dijk. I think this completely shows that they're pretty much in defence of one-man team. I mean, people rave about Trent Alexander-Arnold. He can't defend. Andy Robertson, he can defend a bit, but he's not. He's got a good cross on him. But it just shows. I mean, you've got to admit they've been unlucky with centre backs, haven't they? All of the injuries they've had, they just keep on coming. They keep on coming from sitting on other clubs' perspective. Think, oh God, they've got another one injured. You can just chuckle at it, can't you? But this game, I think this is hard to call because you don't know what Liverpool will turn up. I mean, a decent Liverpool could turn up, or a rubbish Liverpool could turn up, and you didn't think you'd be saying that when they were top of the league at Christmas or whenever, or whatever they were, and cruising when it looked like to another victory, another Premier League victory. But I don't know. For me, Jota will want to put in a good performance against his former side because he's back now. I really don't know, to be honest, with this game. I really don't know. I'm going to sit on the fence and I'm going to go 1-1 in this game. It's really hard to call this one for me, I think.
1-1 draw. Jazz?
Yeah, going back to Liverpool, I think there's three things. I think one thing is that success has come too quickly for them under Klopp. They've won more or less what players don't dream about, Champions League, the league, runners-up Champions League. Second point is the pressing game that they play like Poch has burnt the players out, I think. You can only play that type of game for a couple of seasons and then you need to bring fresh sort of faces in, which is point 3, I think. So too much success too quickly. They burnt out and they haven't bought they haven't bought enough players. And he rarely doesn't buy the wrong players, to be fair, apart from Minamo, whatever his name is, a Southampton guy. So
that's what I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, but the rest of them work out quite well. And people like Salah want to leave the club, it looks like, with his agent in the press. So those are the 3 reasons for me. This one, it's weird. I had 1-1 written down, but I've changed my mind about a minute ago. So I'm going to... And it's on the back of Liverpool. They've got to win, so I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, purely because it's got to change, isn't it? They can't carry on this way. So 2-1 for me, Liverpool, but it could easily be 1-1, yeah.
Do you think, Jazz, I'll ask you this before I give you my prediction, do you think that Liverpool need to spend in the summer to sort of refresh it up and make this team, because this team's a bit stale at the minute. Like, they've got the same boys in there than they had when they won the Champions League a few years ago. And sometimes they get a bit comfortable in the team. You know what I mean? They're there, they're used to playing. Let's be honest here, we could probably pick, all 3 of us, like right now, could probably pick their starting lineup quite easily. Do you know what I mean? There's no one really threatening. Like, their front 3 picks itself, their defence picks itself, their goalkeeper picks itself. The old midfielder might change in and out, but can you see what I'm saying? Do you think, Jazz, and I'll ask Jake this and all, it's like a joint question, do you think they need to spend?
I think they do, but the key question, and you've touched upon it in your comments, is when you buy a player, and David Moyes has proved it recently, you buy a player that's going to go into the 11 and challenge him, not a squad player. So the players that Tottenham, Liverpool, like Minimo and a couple of the others have not been on the level of Salah and Mane. And certainly, and I don't care what you say about Firmino working hard. I judge a striker by the number of goals he scores, and for me, he doesn't score enough. So they should have gone in for a little bit of a higher class player to replace him or certainly challenge him. So like we got Souček, we got Carvalho, we got Lingard more importantly. And Lingard is straight good enough to get in that top 11 and push Bowen maybe to the side, which Bowen wants and needs. And challenging wise. So I think that's the key, is to buy players. They can easily buy 20-25 million, 3 of them, Liverpool. But the key is to get to be fair, I think what he wanted Werner, he wanted 1 or 2 others that Chelsea picked them to. So they need, if it's 80 million, that's what it is if you won the Champions League for a player to join in. So you need players, but the key is you need them good enough to challenge and go straight into the 11 rather than just be a squad player, I think, Yeah,
Jake?
Yeah. For me, I agree what you've both said. They are looking a bit stale in there. I think it really does. I think what's really hurt them is they had the whole window. They knew Van Dijk was going to be out, and I think they could have had the money there, and they went out and got two defenders that they needed a bit more quality in there. They did this Kabak and the other geezer, I forgot his name. But
Davis, Tom Davis, I think his name is.
Davis, But I think they got to go out. They've got to spend a decent amount of money if they want to get up anywhere near where they were last season. For me, I mean, what they did last season, they were incredible, and there's no doubt about it. But they've now got to spend some serious money to get back. If they want to get back to where they were. For me,
this is an hard one for me to predict, because as both of you just said, you just don't know what Liverpool turns up. I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool on this one. Just the simple fact is Wolves, they're either very good or they're awful. And with Jimenez out, their strike threat, William Jose isn't doing it for them. And I'm going to say 2-0 Liverpool. Just sheerly, they've got better a front line and can hurt this team more. But yeah, 2-0 Liverpool. I think they need to spend in the summer, and I think if they don't spend in the summer, teams like Manchester United and Chelsea would overtake them, and it could possibly be that next season they could be fighting for the top four, not for the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? So they need to sort of reassess it in the summer. Right, we've got on to the final game, the clash, the top four clash, as we have put it. It is Manchester United versus West Ham. Right, I'm going to start with Jas on this one. Jas, this is a game where a week ago we would turn around and said, you know what, we'd be happy with a point going up to Old Trafford. Seeing what we've seen and what we've heard from their team lineup, is this a game that we can go up there and win?
This is another one. I've changed it just now. I've changed it. I had United to win 2-1, and now I've gone for 3-2 West Ham. I've just changed it because I think we deserve it, because it's one of those teams, even in the Cup, we've done better than the result. You know, even the last one, we were 1-0 up. We missed a couple of good chances to go 2-0 up at half-time. It would have been over by half-time. And they got that dodgy goal where the ball went out of play, and you know why. I don't know why they said it didn't. I think the luck's about to run out against us. I think we are due a win against them. And in the past and historically, we always give them a hard game. Alex Ferguson said that in all the years I was a manager, I used to hate playing West Ham. You know, he came out with that recently. I think the luck's going to run out and we're going to do them, I think, 3-2. We got the rest. And they've got a lot of players missing. They're not shooting up front. They're not doing that well. And they did put in a lot of effort against City last week and that game in Europe. And we were not quite at it on Monday. So we rarely not play well in 2 games in a row. I think David will certainly have a go at them, I think, to get them up for it. And when you play against your old team, especially as a manager, you don't want to lose. Yeah. So I think he'll have something to G him up about. Unfortunately, Lingard can't play, which is a big thing for us. So 3-2 for me, mate. Yeah, 3-2. Good, mate. Good match. Yeah.
Jake?
Yeah, I mean, this gave me more confidence. I've just seen on Twitter and everywhere else their ever-growing injury list that pleases me quite a bit. I mean, some of them will come back. They'll, surprise us, don't they? They like to do that, Man United. But I think I saw in there Cavani, Rashford, Van de Beek, Pogba was on that list. I mean, I've seen some predicted 11s and it's still strong, but I think we've really, as Jas said, I think we won't go out there and play like we did against Leeds because we can't. We can't, and David Moyes will make sure he tells the lads that. Lingard, big miss, but I think we've got a really big chance going up there. I mean, we say it every week, but I would we fancy a Ben Rama goal today, tomorrow. Ben Rama goal at Old Trafford. I mean, it's come up today about that on this day, Payet's goal against them in 2016, something like that. It would just set him off, and we'd love him if we got a winner or something up there tomorrow. For me, I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham. I think we have got to be confident. We've got to have confidence going up there, and I think they're a side that we can get at. So 2-1 for me.
Oh, I'm going to have to be a bit, I don't know. Even though we've got a lot of injuries, we've still got to respect them that they are Manchester United. And even when they're reserve players, like i.e. Jesse Lingard, isn't playing, look at the difference in class that they have in their ranks. Me personally, I've called a draw all week, and I am going to stay with a draw. I'm going to stay with a 1-1. The reason being is we've got to respect them. Like, don't get me wrong, they're a worldwide brand. They're one of the best well-supported clubs in the world, and they're known for their talent. Do you know what I mean? So there might be people in the background who's not playing, who might come in who we've never even heard of and put in a shift. You know what I mean, for this game. So obviously, if we go there and win, I actually believe that the top 4 is a possibility if we beat a rival and get in there. But I think it's to me, someone said to me right now, James, you take a point there and then go to Arsenal next week and win 4 points for them 2 games. I'll accept that. So I'm going to go 1-1 for this game. I just believe that if we get a draw, I'll be happy with that. So yeah, that's all the fixtures done for this match day mornings. Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? Like, i.e., Fabianski signing a 1-year deal, Jas. I never asked you that. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, we do need a young goalkeeper in, I think, as one of the priorities in the summer. But it's a good decision. We need him because, like I said, I haven't got any confidence in Randolph, and I feel that if Fabianski had played in the Man City game, we would have got a draw. I wasn't pleased with his positioning for 1 or 2 of those goals in that game. I was quite fearful every time the ball was going to go near him. So, yeah, Fabianski is our number 1, but also the clock is ticking. He's a really good sort of shot stopper, and the defense like him. Just has to work on his distribution. He's not very good with the ball at his feet, so his kicking needs to be improved. Distribution is sometimes not as good, but we do need a young person in there. So if he's got another couple of years with us, let's get someone really good in the summer, and Fabianski can work with the person and help bring them in the next couple of years. And whether that's kind of Trot, I don't know much about him, so hopefully it'll be him or someone else. So yeah, it's all
James
good, mate.
knows. James knows about Trot.
I'm not a fan myself, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I really ain't, Jas. If I'm honest, I've seen him over Dagenham and Redbridge in the under-23s.
Okay.
He needs a lot of time. The thing is, there's a lot of players at our club in the youth setup under 23s that need to go out on loan and start being. And the ideal example for that is Josh Cullen. Josh Cullen's gone over to Anderlecht and he's tearing it up over Anderlecht. And I'm seeing on Twitter the Anderlecht fans turn around and saying, "Thanks West Ham for giving us Josh Cullen for 500,000." Like it's just terrible, isn't it? If you could pick a goalkeeper though, Jas, and I'll hand this question over to Jake in a minute. If you could go out and go, right, you've got a budget and a realistic target, who would you like to see as West Ham's number 1 for the future?
I know we've been linked with what's that guy at Sheffield United, and I think Henderson is not performing that well. I think
Ramsdale. Stay away from Ramsdale.
No, I don't like him. You know the guy at Stoke who had a couple of bad years. I don't know where he is now. I mean,
Jack Butland, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where is he
Crystal
now?
Palace.
He's Crystal Palace's third choice goalkeeper, Jas.
I mean, we all like the Burnley goalkeeper if we had the money and an ambition. I mean, he would be the one that will be England's number 1 and would be our Phil Parkes type next decade. He would be the one. Apart from that, not too sure who else we could grab. I mean, you like the Fulham goalkeeper, don't you? I think.
Yeah.
He's not too bad.
If I had the choice, though, Jas, and I had the money, I would go after Nick Pope. I'd think if we go and get Nick Pope, then you're making there's a statement of intent there.
There's not a risk, is it? There's no risk for me buying him. He's that good. I've got no doubt that the guy has got everything. You know, he's solid. What
do you think, Jake? If you had to go and pick one goalkeeper that you want, who would it be?
Adrian.
As much as I love the man, well, I say it everywhere and I'll say it on air. Sam Johnston for me from West Brom. He's a really decent keeper. Quite young. I think he's the one for me who we should pick up. That's my pick. Pope, Henderson. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. They'll go to bigger, things for me, and I think that's too much money. Even if we're saying we're going to have this 60 million, it's going to cost 40 million to have one of them anyway, and then we still need a striker, a central midfielder. So for me, I think we could pick Johnston up for 20 billion. I think 2025, somewhere around there. I don't know, but Sam Johnston for me.
Before I wrap it up, I'm going to ask Jake this because it came up on Jake's show the other day. I've asked it today. If someone does come in for Declan Rice in the summer and offers 150 million, right, and the 150 million full well will be going on players, So that's a goalkeeper, that's left back, 2 midfielders, 2 strikers, etc. And that 150 million takes us from being a top 10 team to a possibly top 6, top 7 team, up there with the likes of Leicester, for instance. One, would you accept it, like the 150 million? And the second thing I'm going to ask is basically, if we did do that, is it worth the risk in doing that? If that makes sense.
Well, I said on my show, is it worth the risk? As you just said there, and no, not for me. I think personally, for me, are we going to find another similar player like Declan Rice to sit next to Thomas Souček for any decent amount of money? We're not.
Yeah.
Not for me. Name me somebody who's kind of bordering world class that we're going to get for a certain amount of money and still get a goalkeeper and still get us 2 central midfielders and still get a striker. I don't think, personally, for me, the risk isn't worth taking. For me, that's my opinion. I mean, that's just what I think for me.
Yeah. See, the thing is with this, and like the way I look at it is no one knew Thomas Souček last year, and then the way I look at it now, that man goes and walks in quite a lot of Premier League teams, like in what he gives. It's not that I don't want that I want to sell Declan Rice. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to sell Declan Rice. I want to build around Declan Rice. Now, if we had owners as ambitious as us, pumping 150 million into the club with a 60 million pound transfer budget turns us into a team where we can compete all the time. And yeah, I know what you're saying, but as I've always said this, no man's bigger than the club. We've seen like Jas can vouch for this. He's seen greats go into our club and leave and gone on to do better things. Like the class of 2003. Look at like the likes of Carrick, Cole, Canute, Glenn Johnson. You know what I mean? These players went on and to actually win stuff and compete at a high level. The issue that I have with that is that in the end, he will want Champions League football. And I don't think West Ham's in a position in the next 2, 3, 4 years with the owners that we have to give him Champions League footballs. What do you think, Jas, before we wrap it up, mate?
I think we don't want to sell him, but the only way we're going to move forward is because the owners don't have any money or they're not willing to invest. The only way we're going to go up or certainly maintain the form of this season will be to sell him. And the way I look at it is, as long as they agree that 16 million that they were going to put in stays, so we get 150 plus their 60, you got 210 million, and that 60 goes on Rice's replacement on its own. Then it's a different ball game. Then the 150 goes on the goalkeeper, couple of fullbacks, you lot one, guy up front. Then it looks completely different. Then I agree. But then having said that, and look at the financial accounts coming out saying they're borrowing small amounts of money at 5%, and they want to pay, and they're putting debt into the club. So for me, if they agree to put 60, keep that, and then 150, 210, it looks good to me, mate. 200, and David Moyes is not wasteful either. That's another point.
No.
He'll look after the money, and like he said, and I bet he says, being a Scotsman, they never pull out money anyway. 210 million. He'll say, yeah, it's in the bank, but I'm not in a rush. So he'll be all sensible. So 210 is good, mate, isn't it? 60 on Rice's replacement, and you still got the 150 for your other positions. Yeah.
Before I wrap it up, I'm going to ask you this: do you expect this to be the same? Do you expect us to be like this next season, though? Like, as in the way we're playing, right? And that's no hindsight and all that, but can you see us next season challenging for the top 4, top 5, top 6, top 8? Can you see what I'm saying? I'll hand it over to Jake first, and I'll wrap it up with Jas. Go on, Jake. What do you reckon?
I think we've been very lucky this season. The Arsenals, what happened to Chelsea? I know they're back up there now with Spurs not performing, not up in and around that top 6. Money not flooding back in. If they don't succeed, they're just going to chuck money at it, I think. I think this. I'd like to think we could do the same next season, but I just don't. It's a really difficult question to kind of think of for me. I think it is difficult for me. I don't think we can do what we've done this season if we get in that top 6. I'd like to think so. It will be absolutely extraordinary, and I'd love to see it. But just thinking a little bit realistic, can we do that again? Probably not. But I'd like to be proven wrong.
Oh, good man, Jazz. I'll leave it with you, and then we'll wrap it up, mate.
Yeah, I think the target next season will be top 10, not top 5 or top 4. It's a unique season. And like Jake said, we got very lucky with injuries. We got a stupidly small squad. You can't expect that Rice or Suchet not to pick up any injuries next season, especially the way they play. So I think top 10 for me, mate, and certainly not hitting the heights of top 4, top 5 like we're doing this season, yeah.
Yeah, and I hope both of you are right. And I couldn't agree with you more. Right, that's us done for match day mornings on this Saturday. I want to thank Andy who come on, spoke well. Hopefully you'll see him again. Gatesy, the Frank Lampard Society. I love him. I think he's a good man, Gatesy, and he's top bloke. I want to thank Jake for coming on, West Ham Unofficial. Go and follow him, like, share, subscribe to his channel. Good stuff, good debates. He has me on there, and obviously if I'm on there, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
And big thanks to Jazz.
There's going to be heated debate.
That's right, mate. I just want to thank Jazz also. He's been my co-host over the last month. Yeah, and we've become good friends, me and Jazz, and he's a top man. I'm very proud West Ham fan, and he knows his stuff. So yeah, go and follow Jazz on Twitter and all that. So yeah, that's us done. Catch us next week, and let's hope for a positive result tomorrow night. And if we do, glory awaits, as I keep saying it. 10 cup finals to go. Take care, all, and all the best.